You ready?
Yeah, I've been ready.
All right. Phone's on silent.
My phone's not even in this room.
Perfect.
And it's on silent.
All right. Welcome back to Missin the Homies. This is the show where I bullshit with my homies. Hey, last episode. Well, the penultimate episode of the month.
Oh my gosh.
How are you feeling?
Your favorite word.
It is. It's my $100 word. Are you ready to talk part 3 of
And
1984?
part 3 only. Otherwise, we won't have other things to
Part
talk about.
3 and part 3 only.
In the finale. Bye, sweaty.
Bye, sweaty.
I'm saying that more for myself because I feel like I want to no.
Yeah.
We have final thoughts, and final thoughts should be in final thoughts, and this should be part 3.
There will be. This is the penultimate episode, so second to last. This is also a cat trap. We're hoping to get one of the cats here. All right,
Is it
ready?
the shot? I can't see that far.
It is.
Nice.
I purposely made sure.
Very nice.
Are you ready to crack and get it going?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. I spilled all
Party foul.
Oh, I spilled all over my knee.
What made you pick this for today?
I love a mead. I love a mead.
Do they talk about meat at all in the book at any point?
No.
No?
First episode of the month, not sponsored by Victory Gin.
Instead, it's sponsored by Bee Nectar.
Actually, I mean, we haven't drank gin any of the episodes.
Ooh, mead
but-
with black tea.
Yeah, I mean, I love a gin. Or not a gin, a mead.
It's giving House of the Dragon, which
'Cause
is the
of
other... I feel like mead is like an old-timey thing.
Mead is an old-timey thing.
Yeah. So it's giving...
Which is just fermented honey.
Really?
Yeah,
That's all it is?
that's how mead is. Well, that's not all it is, especially this one has black tea and prickly pear and lemon. But
Well, I like it.
mead is made with fermented honey, which is why I think I like it, because it's like sweet and it's almost a cider, but it's not. Like I would say it's about as sweet as a cider, but it's like extremely. I wouldn't say extremely different, but it's different. Look at Jammy. Jam. I'm trying to enunciate jammy more.
Pajamas is not in the shot.
No.
She kind of is being our little director right now.
No.
Yeah.
She's being the producer.
She's being our producer.
She's not
right now.
doing anything. She's just
LOL.
chilling. Just kidding. There are producers who do stuff. Anyways,
Tea.
so 1983, part 3.
1983?
1983.
Is that the prequel?
That's the prequel.
Got you.
Yes. That's leading up. That's Winston's life before Oceania. That was when he
Pause.
lived in London.
I think doing this format, book club, I read the novel, you read the graphic novel, The Hunger Games.
Is there a Hunger Games graphic
I'm
novel?
sure there is.
I kind of want to do Dune.
I would do Dune too. And Frankenstein. I'm just thinking like...
Well, save it for final thoughts. Save it for final
Sorry.
thoughts. Spoilers.
What was that a spoiler for?
I don't know. I just figured that would be
This
something.
is also such an old book.
Okay, so part 3. Where does it start? Before you even open it, let's see how well we remember. Part 2 ended with him.
Oh, the thought police got them.
Yes,
Yes. So it starts with torture, really.
straight up torture,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's what 70% of the chapter.
The part?
The
yeah.
part. God, shit.
Yeah. All good.
Big
Yeah.
brother be damned.
I feel like summary, I would say torture. O'Brien's a fucking weirdo.
O'Brien. I have so many thoughts about O'Brien.
Rats, skip to the future, ending.
Question mark.
I think he didn't get shot.
Interesting.
I think that's just him saying like, oh my God.
He finally died inside.
I actually felt love for Big Brother. Like, yeah, that killed me.
Yeah, that killed his spirit.
Yeah, I don't think I know that's like a debate, I think.
Is it?
Among people. I don't think it's actually him getting shot.
I think I would have liked it better if he did get shot.
Okay.
I think I would have liked it. I think part 3 is the first part where it didn't feel like an allegory, where it felt like a real book. It felt like a real sci-fi story, because part 3...
That's not sci-fi.
I guess it's not sci-fi.
It's like futurism. Like
it
it's
feels sci-fi, but I guess the
I think
rat.
it's just dystopian.
But well, yeah, like with the rat cage on the face, that's more medieval than anything.
Well,
I feel like that's
bad torture still happens today.
yeah, but I feel like a rat cage on the face feels like a medieval torture. Anyways, this
Whatever.
part really, I feel like this is the first part where I felt something for O'Brien and for Winston.
Oh, you felt something for O'Brien?
I felt something
Negative?
negative, yeah.
Okay.
Something in the sense that that O'Brien felt like a real character this time.
This
He
humanized them for you.
Yes, in a way. I would say it villainized him.
Yes. But you still
Not
feel
so much humanized
you still
him.
feel for somebody in a different way when they're like real to you. So I guess that's like
Yeah, I guess he just felt real.
like the character came to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I humanized him. But I like
And villainized. I mean, both things can be true. But I think those two things mean different things in this context.
yeah.
Can you tell I've been writing a lot lately? I'm like being very picky about my word choices.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. So
That was the last 2 hours at work. Was just this word, that word, this word.
what'd you say, wordsmithing?
Wordsmithing. It was a lot. I did like hours straight of wordsmithing today. So I'm gonna try to turn that.
So
part
you were
of my brain off.
so you were pretty much the opposite of Winston. Or were you
Yes.
exactly like Winston?
No.
No, because you weren't redacting.
No.
You were punching up.
Research
fluffing.
is cool because it's creating knowledge, but then when you create something, you really got to think about how you're displaying it.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of that today. A
Mm.
lot of storytelling, being
Yeah.
precise. I would like to be a little bit less precise for the rest of the evening and just have fun with our
Say
double
kinda.
feature.
Kinda is welcome.
Okay. I'm going to try to chill out.
Cheers to that.
I did not tag anything. Cheers. I
Interesting.
only highlighted. I did not have any tags with me when I was reading most of part 3. So,
I bent a lot of pages. This book is absolutely fucked.
I should honestly dog ear some of these.
I know normally.
I am not precious about my books.
I know.
I think a book with highlights and dog ears and pens and da-da-da-da-da, I think that's a book well read.
See, I don't like to do anything to the inside of the book, but I'm really reckless with the outside of books. Like when we were in Mexico, I think about the Daredevil Born Again that I got, which is supposed to be like a classic book. I was so excited to read it. I really liked the cover, and that shit just went in my wet backpack like with my
Yeah.
I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to read this. But weirdly enough, I don't like to mess with the insides. I tagged.
I mean, I just am bad with my books. Like, I spill coffee on them. I spill.
Yeah, make sure you talk into the mic.
I eat.
One thing that I noticed, and I feel silly that it took me up until part 3, but all of the parts in the graphic novel open with this weird, like,
Oh, the telescreen.
Yeah.
That's watching.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
all of it is from the perspective of a telescreen.
I wonder if that's true for this. Hold on.
It'll give a bzz.
He did not know where he was. Presumably, he was in the Ministry of Love, but there was no way of making certain. That's the start of part 3.
Room 101.
I mean, they reference the telescreen a lot, but I don't think it starts that way for the parts for the novel. It was the middle of the morning, and Winston had left his cubicle to go to the lavatory.
Yeah, so it doesn't start. See, and I feel like
Interesting.
I feel like for
You're
me,
watching him.
yeah,
Versus we're in his head.
yeah. Which I think that's why.
That's cool.
I mean, now I know that I'm so much more of a visual person.
Yeah.
But like, I really appreciate this format even more for that because it feels even more voyeuristic, and it really took me there. Part 3, where I was like, oh, because I like looking back, they all start that way.
Yeah.
And not every chapter starts that way, but every part.
Interesting.
Like the beginning of the book and the end of the book ends with, not with a telescreen, but yeah. The ending has actually nothing to do with the beginnings. So what did you highlight first?
The very first thing I highlighted is when O'Brien is asking him how many fingers he's holding up, and he's like, I don't know. Like, he knew that it was 4, but in his response, I don't know, like, he's starting to question himself. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into the whole, like, to cure you, insanity. And that really got me thinking about, like, how people who question the status quo or question authority, like, immediately goes to, like, attacking somebody's sanity.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we see that in, like, people have called, like, Alexei Navalny, the guy, or maybe I'm saying his last name wrong.
Is that the guy who self-immolated?
No, that was Aaron Bushnell. But they said that about him too. They were like, he's insane, blah 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 blah, and it's like, no, he could not participate in a genocide, and like
he fully was aware. Didn't he like take a video right before he's like, I am fully sane.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He was like, I'm fully sane. I see what's going on as somebody like who has been in the service. Like, this is awful. And, you know, that was a replication of something that happened for the Vietnam War that like actually got Kennedy to like say stuff about the Vietnam War, like real, you know, political change.
Real shit.
But that's like the first thing that people say, like, oh, he's insane. And then after they're talking about the sanity, the next thing I highlighted was men were dying because they would not abandon their true beliefs. Like, so for you to actually bring up self-immolation is, that is like the
pertinent,
the highest form of, you know, agreeing with something. You're like, I agree with this so hard, I'm gonna die for it. Yeah, you know. And like,
well, I mean, they even O'Brien. I don't know if it's in this part or the last part where he's like, there will be no martyrs. No, it's definitely in this part.
It's definitely in this part because we didn't know O'Brien was like bad
until this part. Yeah, he's like, there will be no martyrs because we convert everybody and then we kill them. I think that was where, I mean, this whole part, I was like, O'Brien is straight up super villain level. Like, the first 2 parts, like, I totally felt like, oh, this is fucked up, this is wrong, this is not right. But I think this part going into like such extreme detail, and I mean graphic.
I don't think I could see this graphically. I was thinking that when you were reading it on the couch and like had your head on me the other day, I was like, I do not want to like see the graphic. It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially the part like that you were talking about before where he's like, how many fingers do I hold up? Am I holding up? And it's like, I think it's one thing to read it and see it in your own head, but like to see it in your own head, look at it, it's just like, just engaging the other sense is like,
yeah.
Oh, it's like, it's that much more real, if only to be real to these characters.
Yeah. I do think that's something that I like about like only word novels is like, I'm just in my head.
There's a certain distance away
like,
from it.
There's an escapism there, you know, but like I'm still creating the reality.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm in the driver's seat a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. One of the first things because you and me switched to highlighting at the same time.
You can tell the tabs ran out.
Because, well, for me, a lot of the stuff that I just bookmarked was like the art that I liked, and I had never heard of Fido Nesty before this, but
do they have more stuff?
When I looked them up earlier, like at the beginning of this month, I couldn't find anything, but I feel like this, I mean, He does a really good job. It's not super detailed except for when he wants to be. And I think that he keeps it very plain to keep it in the world of like everyone is very samey, blah blah blah. But like the close-up shots, like the faces that Winston is making while he's getting tortured are like so detailed in a way that I like. This part hit really hard.
Oh yeah.
And it was just really well done. And so it was, I tabbed a lot of the art that I thought was really detailed, but one of the first things I highlighted was I thought this was just so interesting and totally not related to the book, but the part where O'Brien was like, does the past exist concretely in space? And Winston, is there somewhere or other a place, a world of solid objects where the past is still happening? No. Then where does the past exist at all? And that just like those two sentences fucked me up. Fucked me up because like the past is gone. But this book's like other accounts are how we keep hold of the past, and
we have to record it.
We have to, and if you don't have something to reference, then like
we're just floating on a speck in space.
Yeah, so it was like fucking me up, and so I wound up not getting through it, but this is my cheat sheet for the essential philosophy guide, and I was like, there's got to be some old fucker in here who's talking about past, talking about like the concept of the past. So I just thought that was a really like interesting thought that I hadn't thought of, and it kept me awake for a couple of nights.
I feel like I first started thinking about that kind of stuff with The Good Place when they were like, time is like Jeremy Bearimy, and I think about that all the time. And then I'm like, where is the past? It could be intersecting right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that messed with me.
Honestly, I don't remember the Jeremy. I just remember that like, time spells out Jeremy Bearimy, right?
Yeah, so it's like essentially the what they say in The Good Place is like, instead of time being like a fixed timeline that you're like moving along, it's like and it spells out Jeremy Bearimy.
Time is just happening.
And there's like loops and things touch and in my head, whenever I have like deja vu, I'm like, Jeremy Bearimy.
Interesting. Maybe I feel like I need to go back and watch The Good Place.
We have enough on our watch list.
So true. I just love Jason so much.
Yeah, I so would rewatch it, but like
Kiernan is shout out to Kiernan.
I would love to rewatch it like if I was like sick or something. Like not to be like, I don't want to be sick, obviously. Yeah. But like if I were,
that's not wood. That's not there.
If I were to be sick, I would love to watch Hercules and then The Good Place.
What a combo. What's her name?
Meg.
No, not Meg. Who plays the main character in The Good Place?
Oh, Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell. I was going to say the white lady married to Dax Shepard.
The white lady married to Dax Shepard.
I mean,
I'm screaming.
That's what she is.
Yeah, a lot of these were me highlighting like stuff about insanity. It resembles my own mind, except you happen to be insane.
Okay. So I did mark the place where...
Wait, I have one more thought about the past.
Well, I was going to say this is about the martyrdoms. Okay, talk about the past.
Okay. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, related to what you were saying about the past, I highlighted, the rule of the party is forever. Make that the starting point of your thoughts. He came closer to the bed. Forever, he repeated. And like, if there's no past, then you can say that you've been around forever. But what? The party's like the party was doing the revolution when he was like a kid.
Yeah, that's
like it's such recent history.
That's what I think is so crazy about like zooming out for a sec, like the timeline of this book.
Sapien mode.
Oh my gosh, Sapiens fucked me up. That was crazy. Huge plug right now. If you have not read Sapiens by Yuval
Noah Harari.
No, Yuval Noah Harari. That guy.
Plug.
insane. The graphic novel, insane. So good. So well done. Art is very simple, but like, I would say in a Sunday newspaper cartoon kind of way. I don't.
Yeah.
I loved it. I feel like the concept is so. The concepts are so highbrow that the art needs to be really just very bare bones. But
The book that messed with like that.
The fire one, right? Catching Fire?
That one for like human history, but particularly how much things can change in like a short amount of time is the Marge Piercy, Woman on the Edge of Time book. That one's closer to you.
That's the other Utopia, right?
That's okay, so it's like it's in the 70s. When
Yeah, but she
you're
like
starting
switches like
Yes. So she's in this like she's a I want to say she's Mexican. She's a Latin woman in the 70s who is like mentally ill. Again, if you're like, they love to villainize the mentally ill. She's poor, she's mentally ill, and it kind of goes with like this psychiatric institutionalization that she has. And then she like travels to the future and they like live in this utopia, and they're like in the utopia they're like, in the past people like villainized mentally ill people like you, but you're special type of a thing.
Yeah.
And they like have, they're kind of in this like barter collectivism system, and there's no sexism and there's no racism, and like it's a utopia.
Yeah.
But it's a interesting. She's jumping back and forth between that and the 70s, and it's set only like 100 years. It's set in like 2170 or something.
So that's what I was gonna say about this.
But this is only 20 years.
That's what like this
or
is
30 or whatever.
Like that's not even a whole generation. Like that happened in his life.
It is a generation, but
20 years is a generation.
Technically, yeah.
Interesting.
That's what like.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I mean, even think about us and Noelle. Like we feel like separate generations, and she's 14 years younger.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's crazy when you put it that way.
So I think it's like, yes, when you zoom out that much, it feels crazy. But also when you zoom in, it's like a lot can change very quickly.
I mean, a lot happened in a year.
For us on an individual level.
For us personally, yeah.
Yes. So like, I don't know. I was just, time is crazy.
Time is crazy.
But when he was saying the whole forever thing, like the rule of the party is forever, like when you have control over the past like that, you can convince people that this is the past, the present, and the future. Like,
well, what did he say? If you have control of the past, you have control of the present, and if you have control of the present, you have control of the future.
Exactly.
They're just like squishing time into one.
Right. And then they're like, the party is forever. The party's like a couple decades old. Calm down.
That's fucking evil.
Oh, it's evil.
That's crazy.
Because then you can control people. It's fascistic.
Yeah. Pin in that.
Okay. Go on to your...
The forever thing, because that reminds me of the other thing I brought. I also really loving this tabbing, and it's reminded me of
honestly,
other stuff.
It's like scratching a brain itch for me.
It really is. This is the book club I've wanted. Okay, so I tabbed O'Brien's monologue where he says, in this place there are no martyrdoms. In the Middle Ages there was an inquisition. It was a failure. For every heretic it burned at the stake. Thousands of others rose up. Why was that? Because it killed them while they were still unrepentant. In fact, it killed them because they were unrepentant. Men were dying because they would not abandon their true beliefs. Naturally, all the glory belonged to the victim and all the shame to the inquisitor. We do not make mistakes of that kind. All the confessions that are uttered here are true. That was like...
Yeah.
And I think that's super early in this chapter. I think
it is, because that was one of the... That was the... Or no, that was the second thing I highlighted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a couple... I would say... it's like 10 pages into the chapter. But
and then that's kind of when they go into, like, that they're going to, we're not content with negative obedience. Like, we need to fully change the person where...
That's the other thing I literally wrote in the margins.
Yeah.
This is fucking wild. But we make the brain perfect before we blow it out. Mm-hmm. So part of me is like, Winston definitely got killed. But I think him getting shot in the head at the end is his spirit dying. I think that's him being like that is his individual thought dying. And then, I mean, if they've been following him for this long, they like see that switch and then they kill him after. I don't think that shot is him dying. I think he dies after.
But I even think that O'Brien saying that is grandiose. I don't think that that's true, because why? If you've broken somebody like that and you've put this time, effort, and resource, like they're putting a lot of resources in.
Yeah.
I don't think they're actually going to kill you. I think he's saying that as a torture tactic.
I don't know. I'm thinking of it in the scope of the book.
It's very literal.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I think that that's, well, maybe it is literal because it's, I don't know.
I don't know. I got very, very evil vibes.
Yes, it is.
From
it
the
is
party
evil.
and from O'Brien in this. So I feel like they would kill him just out of spite.
But they wouldn't kill him as long as he's useful to them.
Yeah.
They kill you when you're no longer useful. If
That's what I'm saying. He didn't die there, but they kill him after. I didn't say when they kill him after.
Or maybe he lives his whole life being useful.
I thought it was crazy that they did the shock therapy and basically like targeted lobotomized him. Like the part where he's like, I forgot something and I know what I forgot, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This was written, what, in the 40s?
Yeah, 49.
And I was like, whoa. What did you think about the Julia and Winston interaction?
Snore.
I feel like because there were so few characters, I like kind of cared, but I was like, oh, like the part where O'Brien is like, she betrayed you instantly, and it was a perfect conversion. I was like, ugh.
I'm like,
no.
Snore. We knew that was gonna happen.
I wanted them to get away. Yeah, I know.
No.
So crazy because I read this book fucking 10 years ago, and I don't remember.
Yeah. I just feel like the Julia storyline is so predictable.
Oh,
like
100%.
You can I read a lot of female authors. Like this is very clearly written by a man.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like,
my god, Julia
Julia
Julia was not a character. She was somebody who fucked, sucked, and
exactly. And they're
hung out.
She thought that like it's also like it's ageism and also sexism that he's like, Julia's too stupid to get what's going on, or she's not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, shut up.
She doesn't really.
So honestly, the whole like Julia, like,
you didn't give a shit.
I just don't care. I'm like, okay, whatever. She's a nothing character in George Orwell's mind, and who cares? You know, like I'm like.
But I feel like that's kind of all these characters. None of like these characters are so paper thin.
Yes, because it's a
I'm
social
just trying
commentary.
to give some of them a little bit of meat.
Yeah, that's fair. But like almost everything I highlighted was about the social commentary, not the like. I think that's why people read this.
So
book.
what is your fucking book just covered because this whole
no, but
thing
like
is...
right, but like the ones that really stood out, like one of the other ones that, I mean, I think sometimes when it's so in your face, but it's like succinct. Those are the most impactful things.
Yeah, because it's putting.
We know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it.
Say that one more time, just into the mic.
Not
in your mouth. In your mouth.
You said put the mic in your mouth. So
you were talking like.
Well, because I was reading. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. Like that is a very succinct sentence, but it's like, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that the best messages are when you can say them with the least amount of words.
Yes. I mean, that's why fucking advertisers make so much money.
Yeah.
Like just those quick snappy sayings.
Like nuance matters.
Like Big Brother is watching. That is like the easy that is such
Scary
a
Santa.
Huh?
I just said Scary Santa.
Scary Santa. But that is like such an easy way to like instill fear that like somebody is looking over your shoulder at all times.
But I even mean in a social commentary sense, like in America,
Hi, Jamams.
the average reading level is like 6th grade. Like it's like sad low.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if we can say we know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it, like that is so succinct. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I feel like the best social commentary is not this like bullshit with
grandiose, flowery language.
Yeah, where people don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to be able to speak to the proletariat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, like, I think a lot of this is really literal, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Power is inflicting pain and humiliation. That coming on the heels of World War II. Like, yeah, that's very plain about the shit that everybody's been dancing around. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Also, sorry.
No, you're good. There, in one of the things that I wrote in the margins was which Assassin's Creed Big Bad pretty much said this exact thing.
LOL.
And I remember watching this. I literally went into the shower that night and was looking up Assassin's Creed Big Bad monologues, and I'll show you after. But it it feels. I mean, like, this is not a new concept. This, even 1984 is not even a new concept. But like,
It was written in
in the 40s,
right.
But I'm saying,
like, you're Assassin's Creed.
No. But I'm saying for like in the 40s, like that had already, like that kind of caste structure had been happening for so long. So like,
I mean, people had been talking about like how he talks about the low, the middles, and the highs. Like,
yeah,
that's like
hundreds.
People have been saying that for
thousands of
so
years.
long.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
Right.
It's not new. Like when I heard it in Assassin's Creed, but reading this and like immediately jumping to Assassin's Creed, I was like, oh my gosh, like nothing is new. All of this stuff is just recycled. But
So we gotta break the chains, man.
but so when this wasn't even a speech bubble. This was just whatever. He knew in advance what O'Brien would say, that the party did not seek power for its own ends, but only for the good of the majority, that the mass must be ruled over and systematically deceived by others who were stronger than themselves, that the choice for mankind lay between freedom and happiness, and that, for the great bulk of mankind, happiness was better. And I think those last two sentences really took me, like I had to read them a couple of times. That for the choice of mankind lay between freedom and happiness. And I think that's where, like, I mean, not I think, but like that's where freedom is slavery, like, and happiness and chaos. Like, I feel like those two things get equated because people can spin. Like, I mean, they spin it in this book, like between freedom and happiness, for the great bulk of mankind, happiness was better. So they're saying they would rather give up their freedom for happiness. You'd rather be
told what to do,
content, and be happy,
and taken care of,
but give up your freedom.
Right.
And I think that, oh my gosh, it's it's Haytham Kenway saying it to Connor, who's his son, Assassin's Creed 3. One of the best Assassin's Creeds.
I think that's very cynical, though, and I feel like that
it is very cynical. But that's a fucking bad guy. Like,
yeah.
that is a bad.
I guess. Do you agree with that?
No, but
Okay.
I think that's how people, like, that is a really easy way to spin it. And
yeah,
I
just feel like that's a very cynical look at humanity.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think people are like,
but I think
most people are smarter than most people give them credit for.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, you know, there's like that whole idea that like people would rather be told what to do and just be like a little worker bee and be fed and fat and happy or whatever. I think people are more complex and smarter, and people know what they're doing, and
yeah. But I think
It's very simplistic, very small folk type energy. And I'm like,
yes,
there are no small folk.
Hot D. I love the Hot D reference.
Yeah, people are people.
People are-
Everybody lives a complex life with highs.
But I
and
think people
lows
forget
and-
that.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is I think that
Like when people are like, "Oh, I'm so boring." Like, what?
no, nobody's boring.
Nobody's boring. If you're boring, you got a problem.
You're boring, then somebody's controlling you. You know what I'm saying?
Not
Like
even
I'm like,
not even that.
but
Like,
in this, in this,
yeah, that's a whole different thing.
in this context, you know, if we're
Yeah.
thinking about it with this kind of
But
what George Orwell's trying to say.
But I think that framework, that life is either freedom or happiness, that you can have one or the other, and you got to give up the other. Like you have to give up one to have the other. I just think is so interesting because it is such a cynical way to look at the world, but it's also like saying that freedom is inherently bad or that happiness.
I don't think it is saying that.
I think the way
I think it's saying that freedom is a cost. Like no.
freedom is a hindrance for happiness.
Yes.
Yeah. Like those two things are at odds, but like we say all the time, both things can be true.
I don't think that's true. I don't think they are at odds.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that both things can be true. You can be free and happy.
Yeah.
But like those two things are not mutually
But
exclusive.
nobody's happy. I don't give a shit about happiness.
This is a so much longer discussion.
I know.
And I have other things I tabbed.
All I have to say, just for, because you know what that means, but
yeah.
just for our viewers, I think that happiness.
For the viewers, for the 15 people watching.
For the viewers, for whoever. Hi, Noelle. Like.
Noelle is not watching.
Actually, yeah, she's probably not.
Noelle is not watching part 3 of 1984. But she'll probably watch this in high school if.
Oh my God.
1984.
Yeah, Noelle. What tag bookmark for when you have to read this in school.
If it's not banned by then.
Oh my God.
So sorry.
I'm gonna throw up. Oh, it's fine.
I watched a video about banned books today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to. Let's talk about that offline.
Yeah. Let's talk about that offline. Yeah, we're totally online.
All
right
I'm
now.
gonna say is that I often say that I don't care about happiness because happiness is fleeting. It's just one emotion of many. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, you know, like inside out level languages.
Somebody,
emotions
you
every
can't,
single day.
You can't be happy 100% of every day.
No, you can't. It is an unachievable emotion and who wants to have one emotion all the time? That's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
I strive for my life to be peaceful and fulfilling.
Yeah.
I don't strive to have this like
Happiness has
happy
never
life.
been one of your priorities.
Happiness has never been one of my priorities.
God, how long
I've been saying that since I was like 12.
I was going to say, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been together at this point is what I was going to say is crazy.
Oh.
But I feel like
I think I told that to you for the first time probably in 2014. This is actually like
wow, 10 years
like
ago.
10 years of like really like being each other's person.
Yeah, now we're married.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you. Should we move on to other stuff that we tab? Because I don't have a time.
I don't have a time, but my drink is almost done.
Ooh.
I don't know where you're at.
I got about a half.
You are much slower than me.
Okay.
I did wanna. I have more tags, but I feel like I'm talking more than you are. So
Okay, so then
tell me some things.
Okay, so one of the things that I feel like this third part really gave me like villain vibes, and I mean that is the point. I feel they're literally torturing Winston for
Quite literally
70% of the chapter, but I think one of the, because there's like bad is not necessarily interesting.
Yeah.
But bad with a point I think is interesting.
I also think bad with a point and at the right time and in the right way is interesting. Like this is written when like computers are starting to really
Yeah.
like, I mean, computers are taking up a whole room versus like we have computers in our pocket right now, but like really in the start of the technological revolution.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, so your telescreen is the thing watching you and reporting on the government to you.
No thanks, Skynet.
This, like, as tech is starting to like get legs, and right after World War II.
Not the Boston Dynamics reference. Oh, no. You don't mean get...
I have no idea what you just referenced.
No. Oh, my God. You do know what the Boston Dynamics robot is. It's the dog-like robot.
Oh, my God. Is it the police dogs?
Yeah, it's the ones that you hate.
Oh, I hate
so
those.
you meant like figuratively get legs.
I meant figuratively.
Not literally get legs. Okay.
Figuratively.
Anyways.
I just think that like that's bad with like a purpose, to your point, but also a time specific bad. I think time specific bad helps people see the bad that they currently live in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like to this the book's point, like the past and the present and the future, as we've discussed, is all controlled. So like you get this sense that like, before things were worse, and in the future things will be better. But like when you have oh no, shit is just like this.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's not what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I love when we interpret things differently.
Yeah, I think that's why book clubs exist.
I think that's why reading is cool.
Yeah. But I think why I was getting sci-fi from this, one, because Assassin's Creed is it's very historical, but it's also very sci-fi.
Assassin's Creed is like fantasy in
but,
my head.
But it's because you don't know the like the
head.
Isu lore.
Oh my
That's
God.
so
I don't know the Ezio lore.
Not even Ezio. Ezio is a man in the Italian Renaissance. But so one of this other parts that I tabbed is when O'Brien is telling Winston, the first thing you must realize is that power is collective. The individual only has power insofar as he ceases to be an individual. You know, the party slogan, freedom is slavery. Has it ever occurred to you that it is reversible? Slavery is freedom, alone, free. The human being is always defeated. It must be so because every human being is doomed to die, which is the greatest of all failures. But if he can make complete, utter submission, if he can escape from his identity, if he can merge himself with the party so that he is the party, then he is all powerful and immortal. So that right there took me to my most recent, I guess not most recent, but it took me to X-Men. So one of the X-Men in this, or one of the storylines in I guess one of the most important parts of the Jonathan Hickman run of the latest X-Men has to do with like an old X-Men villain, the Phalanx. And so the Phalanx are like this, from what I understand, don't roast me, but they're like a machine type civilization that absorbs other organic matter into themselves. And this series really goes into how that would look if it like progressed deeper into the future. And it's just like there's oh man, I haven't read this in a while. House of X, Powers of X. Really, really good. But it talks about like these essentially evolved AIs that are absorbing this organic matter to...
Question. Are they absorbing it from the collective? Like
No.
from the people?
So what they are is like these... Oh, gosh.
I'm mostly asking...
I really should have read this before.
Because, well, I haven't read this in a while either, so like, well, Anyways, the Sarah J. Maas, the Crescent City ones, the like all powerful in here are sucking the power out of like just the regular old fae and wolf people, like, you know, just like the people that are on the planet, and they're sucking the life out of them essentially to power themselves up, but they like paint themselves as these like all-powerful god-like things, but really they can only, it's like a contradiction because they act
only
like
have as much power as they can
as
absorb.
the people.
So
right.
Yes, but
I feel like Sarah J. Maas and X-Men have a lot of overlap.
Oh my god, yeah. I started reading
and
X-Men out of spite for Sarah J. Maas. It just felt so complicated that I was like, I need to find a series that's equally complicated. But like this is these super advanced beings are essentially like black holes. Like when they get to a certain point, they just amass so much. They're almost like absorbing intellect. From what I remember, they're like absorbing knowledge of civilization. So they'll like come to a planet and say, hey, we can make you a god, but to make you a god, you have to merge with us. And I think that that's what made me think of...
There's also planet hopping here, and they jump from planet to planet, and they're like, we like you guys, whatever. And then they like rule them. They like essentially are like imperialistic.
Yeah.
Like intergalactic parasites.
They're Yes, exactly. So they're like going from planet to planet, sucking this planet of all its knowledge. But to me, like, I mean, in the part where they like make contact with this planet, they like touch this organism and he essentially just becomes like a robot. So they're taking over these people to add to the collective, and there's like an information page that breaks down the level of these like super advanced beings to the level of like how much consciousness or knowledge that they have. Like if they have like 1,000 beings, they're at this power, and if it has like 10 million beings, it has this much power. And it's like, but so it's just interesting that.
Is there any like rising up against them in X-Men?
I haven't finished it.
Okay.
But
like, so you know how the Sarah
But so
J.
that's
Maas,
the whole thing. They're like fighting. They're trying to fight against that future. The X-Men is so fucking complicated with all of the time stuff and all of the different timelines, and especially this one.
That's where I was about to go with the Sarah J. Maas.
There's 9 different timelines. Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally, so the different timelines are connected with Sarah J. Maas because of the Asteri. So they like had imperialized.
That's so funny that we got to Sarah J. Maas and X-Men in 1984.
Yeah,
Did not think that would happen.
Honestly, though, if you like want to read these, I would not listen. Like this would actually be spoilers.
You gotta say spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
God damn it! Now I have to tag this for spoilers.
Like the Asteri here were the Dagon on the.
Whoa! Heavy spoilers.
Yeah,
Shout out to Paul.
They were I don't know that I'm pronouncing it right or saying. Now I'm worried that I'm confused. But you know, that like the not confidence of like trying to explain something. But
yeah.
Whatever.
I totally butchered that.
In the Akatar, like those are the big bad of the past, and then like Akatar and Crescent City are like canon linked because of the most recent Crescent City, which honestly I think was the worst one, but that's tea besides the point. And the theory is that they're probably the Asteri / Dagon are probably also the Vogue in the Throne of Glass series, but that's not like canon yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's really that these imperialist big bads are going from place to place, but it's very much like, oh, the collective overthrew them because they knew that the true power was with the collective.
Yeah.
And like, fuck these big bads because like all they are exploiting us. They're just leeches, and we are actually where the power comes from. So screw you guys. So like it's really inspiring in that way too.
Yeah.
Versus this 1984 is clearly not inspiring.
Yeah.
It's just
X-Men is very not inspiring because I
feel like now I'm getting too much into my final thoughts. which I need to.
Well, I was gonna say I feel
I have
like
2 more things that I tagged.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
just
yeah.
like one more point that I think I wanted to make.
yeah.
Actually, okay. 3 more points that I wanted to make, but I'm gonna run through them.
Okay, speed round. Hit it.
Okay.
Because I don't know that I have very much.
Goldstein and his heresies will live forever. Every day, at every moment, they will be defeated, discredited, ridiculed, spat upon, and yet they will always survive. These big bads.
Wait, talking about. Just read the very first sentence again.
Goldstein and his heresies will live forever.
Gotcha.
Every day, at every moment, they will be defeated, discredited, ridiculed, spat upon, and yet they will always survive. So that's O'Brien saying that.
Yeah.
And to the point that the party is forever, an enemy needs to be forever, just like East Asia and Eurasia and
I was gonna say because like you can't have
you
one.
always need to have an enemy
Well, with
to maintain a border.
well, I mean, not like even zooming out more, you can't have one thought only.
Yeah.
Because like with one thing, naturally comes the opposite.
Exactly.
So
when
as
you make an in group, you make an out group.
yeah, no matter what, like I feel like that's just a law of nature.
Yep.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Next point.
Okay.
Because I really just tabbed a lot of art.
There will be no love except the love of Big Brother. There will be no laughter except the laughter of triumph over a defeated enemy. Enemy to the same point. There will be no art, no literature, no science. You talking about book bans? I'm like, that's the shit. They like, and even this whole move right now under like Trump not wanting like people to get vaccinated and stuff, and like the opposition to that being like we have to follow the science. Like, that's the kind of shit that happens. Is like
What?
discrediting
no
science.
No art, no science.
No art, no literature, no science. Like that is how we connect with each other as humans. We need to like be informed about our environment. We need to be informed about our insides, the art, and share that with each other. And we need to record it and share that with each other.
I saw a clip, and I don't remember if it was Matthew McConaughey or
What was the clip of?
what's Cable's name? Oh shit.
Dave Matthews.
No, Josh Brolin.
Okay.
It's either Dave Matthews.
I don't know.
It's
You
either
said Matt McConaughey.
It's either
Dave Matthews,
Josh
I don't know.
Brolin or Matthew McConaughey, but it's like, or it could be neither of them. But it was talking about how people are like, "Oh, art isn't important," and it's like art isn't important until your parent dies, or you fall in love, or your heart is broken to a million pieces, and you need those words or that something to express those feelings. That's when you need it. And I like, that would be so crazy if it's Matthew McConaughey, because I think about that all the time where it's like, I mean, of course I got a fucking arts degree, like liberal arts degree, but like art is so important.
I only have science degrees, and I agree with you.
Hell yeah! Like, but like art is just as much as science is important to understand.
It's like humanity.
Well, just as much as science is important to understand the world, like art is just as important to understand the world through a different lens.
Yeah. It's that.
And taking that away strips people of an understanding of the world.
Yeah.
Or their humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to finish these because
I have like one sip.
Well, I was hoping to hold out, but I really got to pee.
Okay,
Okay, so give me your last thoughts. I'm going to finish this, and then we're going to cheers to our last sip.
This is somebody that works in reproductive health, so this hit hard. We have cut the links between child and parent, and between man, and between man and woman. No one dares trust a wife or a child or a friend any longer.
I marked that too. I marked that same.
That, especially working in like the maternal and child health space, I was like, oh my God, those are our most like fundamental bonds.
Yeah, you like that really.
And when you cut those, you cut humanity. Again, I feel like I've used humanity. How many times did we going to do that this time? Sorry. But last sip. That was my last thought. Unless you have last thought.
That was your last thought?
For this. We'll be back soon, y'all.
My last thought. Thanks for watching.
Go piss, girl.